What is a brunch without food? I don't even know, but I'm here, Coffee with Humans, with my new friend Deanna. Welcome to Coffee with Humans.
Thank you so much, Jason. This is so much fun.
It is so much fun, and especially fun today. And I know very little about you, but I do know some a fun fact that you are currently in Sweden and you speak seven languages, four on a daily basis. Uh, that is remarkable in my book.
That's fun because I think that the ultimate power is language,
Oh, okay.
right? Not,
That's deep.
people are always, yeah, let's go deep. I want to go deep.
Yeah.
People are always saying like knowledge is power. Well, knowledge is like a tool that if you don't use it, it's useless. But language, on the other hand, if you use it, yeah, we can talk about this. Language gives you, opens the doors, close the doors, gives you opportunity to have fun, to have sex, to drink coffee, have a conversation. So yeah, when you speak several languages, that opens multiple doors.
You are absolutely right, and you're right. You did go deep right out of the gate, which I love because it. You're right. Knowledge is not power if you can't communicate that knowledge, or somehow that knowledge could not be communicated to you. If it's somehow just locked in, it's like a person who's stuck with no voice and no can't hear. That's they're why would it'd be terrible to live like that. But if but by being able to communicate, with people all across the world in their native tongue, I would think you could
Mhm.
make connections that other people just simply cannot make.
And also, one thing about the knowledge, it's like if you know something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you actually implement that and you show. It doesn't use. Let's say for example, you read a book about how to ride a bicycle, right? Does that serves you? No. If you don't actually go on a bike and ride a bike, you can read a book and you know how to theoretically ride a bike. But if you don't try it, that knowledge will not give you anything, right?
How did you come to this path of learning seven different languages and using four on a daily basis? Because it seems extraordinary.
Do you want to go on that path? Because that's a painful story that
Yeah.
actually, when they say your kryptonite becomes your superpower, or
Hmm.
I made this just I made this up. That's me saying that. But
I like it. Go
essentially,
with it.
yeah. So I am an immigrant kid.
Okay.
My parents are from Bosnia. I'm from Slovenia. I'm born in Slovenia, and when I went to school, my teachers always told me, "You can't speak. You can't speak," because I couldn't speak proper Slovene, right? Because we spoke at home, we spoke Bosnian. And then when I was in college, my German teacher was always telling me, you can't speak, you can't German, you can't speak the language. I was always like that pattern got me, I can't speak. But it wasn't just the language. I was always kind of, shut up, be quiet. I was this kid who wanted to be in the spotlight, but always just be quiet. Don't be noisy and don't be messy. When I moved to Sweden 7 years ago, I am highly qualified. I have a master's degree in business. I did 16 years of business. I worked in HR. I applied for a job here when I moved, and after 2,800 job applications, they told me you can't speak the language. I was like, God, I don't speak the language, but I have other qualities and other qualifications. She said, sorry, but you have to learn the language. And that was the first time that I actually had a purpose behind learning a language.
Hmm.
Mind you, before that was like a necessity, but there, I'm gonna show you, you freaking Swedes, I'm gonna learn this language. And there I was, 6 months. I did the gymnasium level of Swedish, and still nothing. I couldn't find a job, and I got with my master's degree, what didn't serve me anything. I went to clean the toilets, and that was like a revelation. why it's so important for us to know what we know and to actually use that what we know in a way that is gonna not be just meaningful for you, but also for other people. Because what I was doing, I didn't do anything meaningful, and I felt so miserable at that point of my life. And when we go back to why I was so obsessed with learning a language, or why I even, you know, I'm proud to say that's my superpower, is because at one point I became it became my superpower. Even now, English is not my mother language, but I still, I still use it daily. And yeah, it's not perfect, but it is how it is. I use it.
I had this conversation, a similar conversation just earlier today with a gentleman in Spain, and he's selling a software product that allows you to do research about globally who's working on what projects, and then you can like do innovation off of it. And it's a neat idea. Um, and we got talking about how companies and individuals sometimes want to do business in another area of the world, and they don't know the culture. And so they have a great product, but culturally they don't know how to communicate it, and it's just confusion and no one buys it. And I think that underscores, like you talking about, the need for, if you want to expand your reach, if you want to expand your influence, then and get the goodness that's inside you out, you need to be able to communicate it in a culturally appropriate manner, or it's lost. It's completely lost.
100%. It's that, language, when we would speak in, in a language that is common to us. Obviously we all speak English, but when we get into a society and community where just we two speak the same language, that is our mother language, it makes that emotional connection. And we are emotional human beings, right? So it gives you a different perspective. You can connect with a person in a different level. So I think, even now when I'm in a certain community, we have like, English is a main language, but then someone would say, I'm from this country, and I would say in my language, hi, how are you doing? And they're like, oh my God, you speak my language. And that's like so cool. We are just a bunch of crazy people speaking the same language in this community. So it makes a connection.
Absolutely. It is a bonding, it's a bonding element that transcends our thinking mind, because there's no real reason why that should be such a bonding element, right? But it goes deeper. It goes to this heart connection, I think, that now we're communicating on a level that it's almost like a foundational level, it seems, right?
Heartfelt. Yeah,
Yeah.
heartfelt.
So you talked about SMART goals, uh, and you obviously set goals to learn 7 languages. I would think. I don't. I mean, I tried to learn Spanish. I took about 3 years of Spanish in high school, and I learned enough that I could hear if people would slow down. But I couldn't speak it well. And like you talked about earlier, you had a purpose to learn language, and that facilitated you learning language. I didn't really have a purpose. It was like, oh, it's interesting, but I'm not speaking it on a day-to-day basis. It's not critical to my survival. And I didn't set any particular goals.
Yes.
How do you connect this idea of SMART goals and why they don't work to the things that you've achieved?
I love this question, because it's like we were kind of in this world, we are taught to set up specific goals, which is okay. That's, that works. You have to have a specific goal, because if you don't put, the right specific destination, you will not get to the destination that you desire. So specific goal is cool when it comes to SMART goals. What is not cool is that SMART formula doesn't give you intentionality behind it. It doesn't give you the purpose and the meaning behind it. So we disconnect the emotional connection with our goal, right? Because if you go back and I said, I have a purpose to learn this language and I was driven and I said, you know, I'm going to show you, you guys, I had the motivation behind it. And I'm not saying that if you set up a SMART goal, you don't have a motivation, but it's not emotionally connected. You just say, okay, I want to earn, you know, let's say $10,000 per month, but that's like, why? You know, why do you want to earn this? And when you go deeper and you say, okay, I want to, you know, take my family to a trip. Okay, so why is this important to you? Because we haven't been on a family trip for 3 years. Okay, so why is that important to you? And you go like really deep. And I love to teach 7 levels deep. You go like, you ask yourself deep and deep and deep. Yeah, we are at the number 7. I'm freak about the number 7. So you go 7 levels deep. You ask yourself 7 times, why is it important for me to achieve this goal? And when you crank it down to the deepest level, you will find the real reason behind it. Because, you know, after 5th, you come to a point where, oh, that doesn't make sense. But then it gets emotional because you really dig deep. And you will say, okay, that was surprising, but that's going to connect you to your goal. And that's going to be, you know, your drive. And when, can I swear?
Of course.
When shit hit the fan, that why is going to drive you. And you're going to be like, yes, that's my why. You're not going to give up. Why we give up on our goals? Because we are not emotionally connected. And that's why SMART goals don't work.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think it works the opposite way too. The things that we don't do, the goals that we don't set for ourselves, the things we're unwilling to do, perhaps, that we should be doing, we don't do because we are also unaware of the emotional reason why we are holding ourselves back from doing the thing that we know we should be doing. And it's like you say, it is a series of digging levels deeper to say why, because we got to get to the foundation to understand, you know, why. If it's like building a house, right? And if the rooms are just a little bit crooked and you're like, gosh darn it, I laid on my flooring, it doesn't work quite right. And why is that? Oh, well, because of this. But why is that? Oh, it's because of this. Why is that? Well, because there's a crack in the foundation. Why is that? Because we built it on a place that wasn't level. Why is that? Well, because we wanted to cut right. And you get down, whether it's building a house or whether it's building a life or building a purpose to do something or achieve something, we are bound to move too quickly past that. It's like people setting their New Year's resolutions, and you know, everybody who wanted to lose weight this year is currently eating a pizza. You know,
yeah,
it's not even the end of January yet.
yeah, right. We are exactly at this point where we get, you know, when you have like your goal in mind, and you have like this, okay, this is my final destination. Where what was your final destination? Okay, to lose weight, but why? To feel better. Okay, but why is it important for you to feel better? Because I want to have fun with my kids. You know, I want to have so much energy as my kids. Okay, but why? And you get down to the point where, you know what, I'm creating deep and meaningful memories with my kids when I have energy. It's not about that 10 pounds or 20 pounds. It's about that. And you're going to find yourself that creating deep and meaningful relationship, it's not necessarily losing weight, but just being present with your kids. You know, it's also that sometimes we aim for a goal that is unmeaningful to us.
Yeah, that's true too. We set goals that don't matter, and then we wonder why we don't achieve them. And it seems also that we get caught. I know this for myself too. We get caught in setting goals and working towards things that are superficial because they seem doable. And and subconsciously, the really difficult things that we really care about feel undoable. They feel complicated. They feel long. It's like learning a language, or like for me, I'm learning guitar. I have had a guitar for 20 years, and it hangs on my wall in my living room, and it looks awesome, but I don't know how to play it. and I started taking guitar lessons this month, and I thought, okay, well, how do I go about doing this? Like, what stops me from just picking up the guitar and playing it? Well, my arm hurts. Why? Because I'm 43 and my arm doesn't, like, I should have stretched this 20 years ago. Now it's like having difficulty, right? And it hurts. And I feel like, oh, is it going to take me 3 years to learn how to proficiently play the guitar? Maybe I'll never proficiently play the guitar. And why does it matter, right? And subconsciously, all those things are sitting there as dissonance and emotional weights. That it's like, I'm trying to get the gumption to play it, and I choose something easier instead, which is something I care less about. I would actually like to learn to play guitar. It kind of fits me, but it's that hard work, and because I haven't really connected it to the why.
Mm-hmm. So Jason, whenever we need to, acquire a new skill, it's the same. It's not going to be easy, Well, everything that will get you at that satisfaction is not going to be easy, because it's easy to sit and binge watch Netflix, right? That's easy. But you can love Netflix. You can even love social media. I see you, my entrepreneurial buddies. You scroll on the social media. You think that you love social media, but they don't love you back. When you connect with your guitar and you say, this is, I love this guitar, and this guitar will give me love back, because I'm going to be able to play for my, for my grandchildren, or whatever that means, connecting back to 7 levels deep why, you're going to get that love back. And it's going to give you satisfaction after you acquire that skill, whatever that is. Even if it's like, if we are in a business, business of serving people, or even like whatever tech business, you always have the purpose, and to acquire the skill to do something meaningful will not be easy, but it's going to give you the ultimate satisfaction at the end.
Yeah. And I think in addition to this, and I think you'll agree to this, that we can set a goal, we can connect it with our why, but if we don't manage the circumstances that help us achieve that goal, we many times are in circumstances that are have been built to keep us right where we're at, and we feel this resistance. We're like, I want to do this. I know why I want to do it, but I just can't seem to make it happen because we're unwilling or haven't thought about how our circumstances need to change to set us up for success.
Oh, for sure. I love this. You speak my language. Okay, so here's the thing. Because when you're connected with your, when you're too much in your head, and when you're thinking about this thing, how will I do this? Then you get disconnected from the heart and from the purpose. And when you think, okay, so even if we go through the process of setting goals or whatever that is, and okay, these are the resources, this is the path, this is the plan, this is how I'm going to do it. And once it got like, you get sidetracked, you feel like, oh no, I'm not made for this. Because you're too much in your head, because in your head, it has to go by this plan. The road is not like that. We know that roads go like this, right? And we have obstacles, because obstacles are made to cross, because when you cross the obstacle, you grow. And every time you get to an obstacle and you give up, you're in your head and you're not in your heart. And you're too stuck with the how. And being like, and this is where, our friends here, entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, business owners, guys, when you hit the obstacle, let loose. Just take a pause. You have a break, and you will get an inspiration that will take you to, from your course correct. You will get, if it doesn't get, if you don't go to the right, you can go to the left. It's always a choice. And it's always the mindset that it keeps you stuck.
Yeah, it's totally.
I have to this way. No, let go, surrender, and you will get when you connect back to the why, you will find a way.
Yeah, I that totally resonates with me, and also resonates that the people that we surround ourselves with so important, because I think many people are stuck wanting to achieve a goal, understanding why they want to achieve that goal, but unwilling or have not been assertive about surrounding themselves with people who help them move forward to that goal. It's very difficult, and I see this pretty consistently, that people really want to move forward, but then, somebody in their sphere of influence is just the, Debbie Downer, wants to see, doesn't is afraid to achieve themselves, and certainly doesn't want to see this individual achieve. And so, they're like, well, yeah, but my friends or this other person or whatever, and all of a sudden they're not working towards their goal because of the people they're surrounded with.
So here's a powerful statement that I want you to all to take your notebooks and write this down. Proximity is power, but not any kind of proximity, because you are always an average of 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Okay.
And when you think, okay, so maybe this person isn't my cheerleader, and that is okay. We want to have cheerleaders, people who are, yes, we are, I'm going to support you. I'm going to cheer on you. You're such a great, you're a badass. You do this great stuff. We want to have these people, but we also want to have people who stretch us. If you tell me, this month I'm gonna, or next month I'm gonna grow my business by, I don't know, 5 times, and I'm gonna tell you, you know what, Jason, that's a great idea. Let's make it 10 times. You'll say, okay, well, that's a hairy, scary goal. But yes, when you stretch yourself, when you have in your proximity people who stretch you, they are even more welcome, and they're even more they're contributing to your growth more than the cheerleaders, because cheerleaders are that they're cool, they're fun. We all want to have like people who say, yay, hey Jason, you made it. But we also want to have who will say, you know what, Jason, let's go for 10. And when you don't reach the 10, you're still gonna reach 5, and that's gonna be super awesome.
What do you say to people who have a hard time asking or acknowledging that they need assistance in getting to in achieving their goals? Because I think a lot of high performing individuals, I'll count myself among them, so this is a very self-serving question, that when we we kind of feel like, well, but I should be able to figure that out, instead of relaxing into this concept of like, here's what I want to achieve, and I hesitate to ask for your help because I feel like I should be doing this myself. What do you say to those people?
Oh, my high achievers and hustlers, welcome to the party. Okay, so I'm gonna say it. You can do it all alone. No, like, there is no doubt. There is no doubt. But if you want to go fast and you want to go far, you have to be a team player. Okay. Like, let's just think of a sport, not the tennis, but the sport. How the team wins. Ronaldo, I'm a big football fan. Ronaldo doesn't get to the championships without being a team player. We know that he kicks balls and he's very good, but he can't goal or the team's goal without being a team player.
Yeah.
And that also means that you are always willing and you are always contributing to the collective, not just for yourself, but always for collective. And when you're being selfish and you don't ask for help, well, you're being selfish. You're thinking only about yourself. I'm going to grow. I'm going to grow. Not we, not the people who support me or people who I support, but I'm going to grow.
Yeah.
And that's where you lack the vision, and that's where you lack the mission.
That goes back to, I think, what Ben is talking about here, a user from, I think, LinkedIn. When we do OKRs, we don't put performance incentive on the goal itself, but on the participation in the goal-setting process or the willingness to drive towards the goal and find a way, which is so key. And it's what you're talking about, that we can set goals out in front of us, but if the incentive is not built around the fact that we're working together to move to that goal, then we're incentivizing maybe the wrong thing. We're working towards the wrong thing, because because it gets back to your idea of the why. The process of working together towards something, that comes from the why, because the goal might change. I mean, circumstances, for instance. So, there's COVID, COVID last year pulled the rug out from under a lot of people, and all sorts of salespeople who I'm sure had all sorts of incentive plans that weren't met were very disappointed, and due to no fault of their own, circumstances changed. New goals had to be set. They weren't going to achieve it. It's certainly not in the same way, their goals, but they probably were not going to achieve their goals at all. And were they doing a bad job? No, they weren't. However, if we incentivize this idea that the team has some resilience built in, and we can change the destination, but if we're all committed to the bus that we're on together, then we can achieve great things. I think that went back to the was that the book Good to Great? I think something like that, where they talked about make sure people are on the right right place of the bus, but this idea that you companies that have been good to great typically go through some sort of transition time where the thing that they were doing isn't the thing that the team does now, and like Kodak, for instance. Kodak used to build, they used to be the film people. Like, they were known as the film people, and they missed the digital transition, and now the company is virtually unheard of.
Yes.
And that didn't have to go that way. That company didn't have to miss the transition. However, the team was incentivized towards the thing that they were doing, instead of being able to change and become resilient and move with the times.
100%. And I think it's also like, if I just add something to this, it's about, we experience a massive shift and a massive pivot in all across the industries into 2020. The people who were not able to adapt and pivot quickly, they got left behind. And people who adapted very quickly and shifted and pivoted and changed their business model, whatever that was, they're the one who will be leading. They're the one who will be pioneering the new ways of doing business. And if you miss that train, well, you haven't lost anything, but you in what you're saying, you have to be resilient. You have to build that resilience muscle, because if you don't, you're just going to be left behind, like Kodak.
Yeah. How do you coach your friends into this idea of building resilience?
Yeah, cool. I think it's one thing that I learned as a stubborn immigrant kid, resilient and learning languages. It was really like about having that. If I go back, like, Jason, I cannot tell you, if I go back to my childhood where I was bullied, like, I remember mom was telling me, you're such annoying, like, you're such a messy kid. And I was always left in a corner. And I know I see myself, how I was in my room and I was talking to these dolls, Barbies. I was a motivational speaker and I was motivating my dolls, and never in a million I would imagine that that's going to come true. I'm going to be a speaker one day, and not less in my, not in my home language, but that came true because I was resilient. I didn't give up on that vision and that mission, that purpose that I had as a little kid. Right. And it's going back to, and it's not just me, it's a contribution. Because if we think about how we are wired, we human beings, we are wired to contribute. Because here's the thing, Jason, do you have kids?
Yes. I have 3.
Okay. So, I have 3 too. Good. So when we think about, what are we willing to do for our kids? There is no thing that you would say, I wouldn't do that for my kids, right? But would you do those same things for yourself? Probably not, because, we are wired to contribute. We are wired to give best to someone else. That's how human beings, like, we work like that. And when you have this, my goal is not just me, but it's also the people who I'm surrounded with. Then you become that becomes something greater than yourself.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I had dinner with my parents yesterday, and talking about all sorts of stuff. And part of it was like, hey, guys, I need your help with some stuff. And I was hesitant to ask them because I just feel like, well, I should be able to figure it out. Like, I don't know where I got that from. But I have kids. I got a 21-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 14-year-old, and they ask me for help occasionally, and I'm always like, I'll figure out how to help you. It's never a question. It's the well, it's actually, I absolutely will help you. I don't know exactly how I'm going to help you because I might through my own life experience think, well, here's how I'm going to help you, but you got to do the work type of thing. Or it might be, I'm going to step in and I'm going to like get you out of a jam. But you're right. You're absolutely right. We are wired to have some goodness to give to other people. And many times we certainly don't treat ourselves with the same grace and goodness.
No, like, and that's like, that unconditional love. We are only willing to give that to others. Yeah. That's just how it is, contribution and love and contribution and growth. These are like main human needs. And, contribution will always be the primary motivation. If a friend asks you, would you learn to do my social media? I'm just making this up. Would you run my social media? I would say, yeah, I'm going to learn from you, buddy. I'm going to do it for you, brother. But would you be willing to learn for yourself? Probably not. Because the drive is different. The drive, that's going to give you satisfaction because you're going to make someone else happy.
Yeah. How do you connect that then to goals, and not just the superficial goals, not that they're not important, but I think some goals are superficial and not long-term, not lasting. It's just like, well, for now, I did whatever I did, sold more stuff. It's like, okay, that's cool. But for real life change, real life growth, how do you connect? What's the view of the world from your perspective in terms of long-term life growth?
So, if Disney, Apple, we all know them. They had a great vision, or they still have a great vision. I'm not talking, everyone will tell you, so what's your goal for 2021 or 2030 or, in 20 years? That's like small thinking. Mm-hmm. I want to stretch you guys, and I want you to type in the chat. Where do you see yourself in 50 years? Or what is your legacy? What do you want to be known for? When you think like that, that's like thinking outside of the box and might scare some people. But if you're not willing, so that's also back to the resilience. If that's not something that you're willing to work towards every single day, don't underestimate what you can achieve in 20, 50 years. Don't underestimate. Because you can do so much just little by little. Every single day you're working towards that step. But you have to, you have to see that in front of you. At least daily reminder. For me, that looks like I want to build a school for young girls in tech. I don't have freaking idea how I'm going to do that. The school is going to be my name on that school. I don't have freaking idea how I'm going to manifest that. Do I care about the how? No. I just know that everything that I do on a grand scale, is that moving me towards that mission? Yes, heck yes. Because I don't know who in your audience right now might be in the tech industry and they say, you know what? This chick is good. She has some good goals. Let's help her. Let's maybe someone in your audience knows someone else and they're going to bring me to that closer to that goal. You just need to be willing to go out there and push yourself to always strive for that goal.
Yeah. And connecting that back to what you talked about before, we need to be able to care for ourselves in those moments like we would care for somebody else. We need to be able to push somebody else, or push ourselves like we would push somebody else. We need to be able to counsel ourselves like we would counsel somebody else, because we intuitively know we intuitively know the answers, I feel like, in a lot of ways. We just are unwilling to either do them, or we just haven't asked ourselves the questions to be able to pull those answers out. It's just, I remember I went hiking for a summer, and I wore sandals a lot, and I came back with some serious calluses on my feet. And I went to get a pedicure, um, and and I said, "Are you going to cut those off?" And then the poor lady, she's like, "No, we don't do that." And I was like, "What do you mean? You don't just cut them off?" She's like, "No." And she thought I didn't know. So like first pedicure I ever had, and and she said, "No, we're going to file them away, and eventually they're gonna come off as you just take care of your feet." And I was like, "Oh, okay, gotcha." And I think a lot of life is like that. Over time, just through wear and tear, we build up these calluses on top of our why, on top of the meaning, the grand plans that we have, the vision we have for our future. It's just calloused over by stuff. It's not really the life. It's just dead skin on top. And we want, I think, to feel that raw truth underneath, but
Yes.
we just gotta diligently like take care of ourselves and allow some of that stuff to come off, because getting it cut off is painful, and probably not advisable. But
This is good. This is good, because like what happens when you are going deep and when you are discovering what is the deep why beneath your like, I want to achieve this. So when you peel off those layers and when you go to the bottom, it's going to be painful, because some stuff are going to come up, because probably like I would never ever think that me speaking, being on your show today is connected to that deeper sense of when I was a kid I had this dream, and I'm fulfilling that dream, and I'm reframing my childhood, which was painful. I'm reframing that by you really showing up and doing this shows, and I'm speaking, and I'm hopefully giving some value to people.
yeah, well, I've lived the same thing, knowing that there's value here, knowing there's value to experience, knowing there's value to life, and then in some ways, holding back on that, unwilling, like now, unwilling to just like let it loose and get it out there, unwilling to be seen. And it's the dichotomy: wanting to be seen, unwilling to be seen. And the two work together. It's to kind of keep a person stuck. But it's the folks who get past that fear. And I talk about like fear being the gateway, wherever that greatest fear is. And I had one of my great friends in my life said, "Hey, what are you most afraid of?" And it was at the one point in time, it was like streaming to Facebook or whatever. And she's like, "You should do that." And I was like, "I know." And, it's like, yeah, whatever that greatest fear is, like what's holding you back? Why? Let back to your idea of like, why are you so afraid? And it's some sort of emotional thing going on, some level deeper than what we are seeing up here in our heads. And when we can get to that emotion, we can harness that energy. Whatever that anxiety is simply an energy, and it can be directed. Instead of letting that anxiety just hold us stuck like chains, let it manifest forward into yeah, but I've got this vision for my life, and I'm going to need that energy, all that anxious energy. I need that actually to push myself forward.
Oh, so beautiful. And I'm gonna drop the mic right now. The why. You know what why means?
Tell me.
It's acronym for what hurts you.
Okay. Well, yeah. Talk to me. Talk to me. All right. Talk to me. Bring it.
What hurts you? So you're gonna like what hurts you. That's gonna be your deepest level of pain, and also the motivation behind your goals. If Facebook streaming or live streaming hurts you, Okay, I'm gonna go away from that pain and I'm gonna go towards satisfaction, but we'll always go from pain to pleasure, right? Okay, this hurts me. I want to go to the other side, to the pleasure. And I want to overcome that because that hurts me. What hurts you? Do the thing that hurts you. That's gonna be your why.
Okay. So that goes along with that idea of fear is the gateway, right? So what hurts you? So let's frame that then for our viewers, our listeners here, because I think that's super profound. What are some examples that you've seen working with folks where this is
Yeah.
applicable?
So I'm gonna tell you what worked for me. What was my drive? So I told you that when I moved to Sweden, I didn't got a job, and I got job in the cleaning industry. I was so miserable, but not because of the job, but because I felt that I was made for more. I have this all knowledge within. I am so like highly skilled. I have so much goodness to give, but I couldn't do that with a stick in my hand with a like I was so trapped. But I was the only provider. My husband, he speaks only one language, that's him, and we had two kids. It was hard, and I felt like we moved to this country where it was a promised land, and now I'm here like going from being HR specialist at university, having this dream home. I moved to this. What is that? And I remember when my friend called me and she said, "How are you feeling today?" And I said, "I'm gonna kill my boss." And she said, "No, you're not." And I said, "Yes," because she reminds me who I am, a freaking cleaner. And she said, "You're not a cleaner. You're like a really amazing soul." She said, and I said, no. She told me, "You're a cleaner. Why are you learning language?" And I said, and Anna said to me, "You know what? Let's have a girl evening." And I said, "You know what? I'm so freaking tired. I can't even pull my brows. You're calling me to have a girl evening." And that day, when I said yes, I was in so much pain. Jason, I was in so much pain. I wanted to kill my boss. She said, "Come here." And I joined her. There was a guy who was speaking in broken Swedish, and I was listening to one presentation for an hour, and I felt like, "Seriously, Anna, you brought me to listen to this guy?" And she said, "Stay to an end." And at the end, he said something. "1 year from today, you will wish you started today. 1 year from now, you wish you started today." And I was like, holy cow. I went, it was Thursday. I went on Friday to my office and I said, "I quit." And my boss said, "Why?" And I said, "I can't do this anymore." After 14 days, I do not kid you. After 14 days, I got invitation to be a language teacher. How about that? I got it was a school. They needed someone to teach my language, my mother language, for kids. And she called me and she said that we read your essay, because I was doing this public essay. I needed to graduate my Swedish, and I was doing an essay on bilingual, multilingual kids. And she said, "We need someone like you. Come and teach for us." I said, "Okay." Never. I don't believe that if I wouldn't say no to that, I wouldn't get yes here. So when you close one door, another door open. It's like, when you are so, it has to be this way. No, if it's not that way, it will open another way. And I remember when someone asked me, "But why are you a teacher?" And I said, "You know what? This is my why. I love language. I love teaching. My kids, they're exposed to 3 languages, 4 languages a day. That's something that really comes natural to me." And she said, no, it's not because of that. That was also a circumstance that was given to you. And I said, "You know what? In this job, I have a freedom. And every time a teacher calls me, I have an ADHD kid, and she always has like this anxiety and panic attacks. And I couldn't, when I was working this job, when teacher called me, I said, I can't come to my daughter. In this job, when I was in a job as a teacher, another teacher called me and she said, "Your kid has a panic attack." I said, "I'm there. Give me 5 minutes." And I could be with my kid. what hurts me was the fact that I was not able to be there for my kid. That's the biggest pain. Now I get to choose when, with who, how. That's my choice. I made this life where no one will set me in the cage and say, you need to do this. No,
Yeah.
I decide.
Yeah. Wow. That is a powerful story. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. And I know that that resonates with so many people who are silent. They're just silent on their own lives, and silent with the things that they're dealing with. And if Coffee with Humans can do anything for somebody, I love these moments where like Dan, he wrote in here. He says, "Great session today, getting real together." Right. That people see that it's okay to give a voice to the things that are real in life. And because all this other stuff, the fact that we sell things and we grow economies, and that it all valuable. Don't want to downplay that, but on the level deeper, right? We're all human, and we all have hopes, and we have needs, and we have struggles, we have pains, we have fears, and we are so much more the same than we ever are different. And when we start communicating on that emotional level, it cuts through sometimes the language barriers we have, and we're like, oh my gosh, this, we are all one, and we all owe it to each other, I think, to take care of ourselves, and then take care of each other as best we can.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, you're so right. We are so different but so connected. Like we think, and one thing that I'm so grateful for this COVID. Yes, I have to say, you can hate me, but I'm grateful for that, because what would be the chances that we get together for a coffee,
right,
if not for COVID, right? So we need to cherish and really be grateful for those moments that brought some different perspective into our lives. We are more connected than ever. We, on the top of our finger, we can connect with someone. I'm in Sweden, you're in States, and you're in States, right?
I am. I'm outside Chicago, right? I know we didn't even cover that. I'm outside Chicago in Illinois.
So yes, hello to Chicago. But yeah, what would be the for us a possibility, if not for this COVID or whatever, right?
Absolutely. Well, how do people get in contact? How do people get in contact with you if they want to have a more of a chat with you personally? I'm going to put this in the
coffee with me or chat.
If they want to chat, whatever. Do you have a website or something we can send people to?
So I would love for your people to connect with me on Instagram. It's Dijana Llugolli. I'm most raw and real there. So if you want to send me a DM, I might send you a voice message. I'm really weird. I'm crazy as, I'm very crazy. But yeah, if you want to, just get behind the scenes what this mama with 3 kids is doing, connect with me. I would love to have you there.
Awesome. That sounds great. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this coffee chat. The next time I'm in Sweden, which I'm only half kidding, because I would love to see Coffee with Humans be on the road internationally, in places not only making connections with people, but making connections to places that a lot of folks just won't go. They won't have the opportunity to go to in their lifetimes. I think that would be just so marvelous, because people are wonderful, and the world is a really amazing place. So that's my hope.
Can we wrap with a fun fact about Swedes?
Yes, do it.
You know that average Swede drinks 7 cups of coffee per day.
Really?
I do not kid you.
Okay, are they full cups? Or are they tiny espresso? Like, what is it?
Cup of coffee, yeah.
Do you do the whole? Is it called fika?
Fika, yes, fika. Yeah, we do like coffee or tea. We have like coffee or tea and with buns, cinnamon buns. That's like traditional Swedish dessert or whatever.
I love it.
Fika. Yeah, come to Fika, Jason. You are so welcome.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much to all of our viewers and listeners. Thanks for joining us on Coffee with Humans. And look Dijana up on Instagram. And we'll see you soon. Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
One of the things I love about Coffee with Humans are the conversations I get to have, meeting new people just like you. If you or someone you know should be on Coffee with Humans, go to coffeewithhumans.com. Remember, the only rule is no sales calls.
This has been Coffee with Humans. Subscribe to get updates or click to have coffee with me. coffeewithhumans.com.